Hi guys, and welcome back to the Crochet Tale YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be sharing a tutorial with you on this free pattern that I made for Lloid from Animal Crossing. So here it is. It's quite a simple pattern, nothing too special, and it should only take you 3 to 4 hours to complete. So if you're interested, then keep watching. It's fairly straightforward, as I mentioned, and the good thing is there's no felt pieces for this. So if you don't like working with felt, then you probably will quite like this pattern. So if you're interested, I will show you the materials that you'll be needing, and as always the written pattern is available on my blog for free, so you can have that open while you watch this video, or you can just follow along with the written pattern if you'd prefer. So what you'll be needing is some DK yarn or any weight that you want to use in green, camel brown, black, yellow and beige. Then you'll be needing some stuffing, your crochet hook. I used a 3mm crochet hook, but you can use whatever size suits the weight of yarn you're using. You'll need a yarn needle and you'll need some scissors. And then optional things is pins to help sew everything together, and then some brown embroidery thread to add some detail under the mouth. Now as you can see, you can barely see it on mine, so I would suggest this is definitely optional and definitely not something that you absolutely need to do. And then again, the glue was just for gluing down that little bit of black under the mouth. And you might also want some stitch markers, but I tend to just cut scrap pieces of yarn and use that as my stitch markers. So yep, that's everything you'll be needing. So we're going to start off by making the eyes and the mouth with the black yarn. I'm going to show you how to crochet the mouth and the eyes at the same time, because they both have the same first round, and then the eyes just have an additional round to do. So to start off with, you're going to need to actually chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to single crochet around the chain, and that's going to create our first round. So to start off with, we need to do an increase in the second chain from hook, and I'm going to be working into the back loops rather than these front loops here, but it's up to you how you do it. It just slightly changes the appearance of the finished piece. Then I'm going to do 2 single crochets, then I'm going to do another increase, working around the other side of the chain now. And then I'm going to do 2 single crochets. Now for the mouth, you would finish off here, leaving a long tail for sewing, and you could finish off with the fake single crochet method, which I'm going to show you when I finish the eye, or you could just slip stitch into the next stitch. It's completely up to you. But for the eyes, I'm going to carry on for round 2, so we're just going to start off with an increase in the first single crochet, and then we're going to do 3 single crochets, then we're going to do another increase, and then we're going to do another 3 single crochets. Then we're going to cut the yarn, leaving a long tail for sewing. And then, like I say, I'm going to finish off with a fake single crochet method, and this is just going to add an extra single crochet here, well, what appears to be a single crochet, but it's actually a fake single crochet, as I mentioned. So if you turn your work and you insert your hook into the first single crochet of round 2, and you just pull the yarn through, then all you need to do is go back into that final single crochet of round 2, but into the back loop only. So from this perspective, the back loop only. When you've turned your work over, it's kind of the front loop. But yep, so we just go in like this, pull through, and then you can see that it's harder to tell where we completed the round. Now it looks more like a complete round. So all you need to do is just cut this tail at the back here, and then yeah, make another eye, and then you need to make a mouth, which as I mentioned is just the first round from the eye. So once you finish that, then we can get started on the body. So for the body, the first thing we're going to do is start off with 6 single crochets in a magic circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pull tight. And then we're going to, for round 2, increase in each single crochet all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now we're just going to do a few rounds of standard increases and increments of 6. So for the third round, we're going to single crochet, then increase, and repeat that 5 more times to get us to 18 single crochets at the end of the round. For round 4, we're going to do 2 single crochet, increase, repeat 5 more times to get us to 24 single crochets at the end of the round. Round 5, we're going to do 3 single crochet, increase, and repeat that 5 more times to get us to 30 single crochets at the end of the round. So I'll meet you at the end of round 5. For round 6, we're going to just single crochet all the way around, but we're going to do this in the back loops only. So I'll just show you a few single crochets as an example of that. So you can see we're just going into this back loop only. So I'm going to continue doing that all the way around, and that will complete round number 6. And then for round 7, we're going to single crochet all the way around, but in both loops this time, so not in just back loops only. So I'll meet you when you've got to the end of round 7. For round 8, we're going to be working in the front loops only. So we're going to do 4 single crochets to start with. And then we're going to do an increase, and then we're going to repeat that pattern 5 more times all the way around, and that should get us to 36 single crochets at the end of the round. And then for round 9, we're going to again be just working in the front loops only, and we're going to do 5 single crochets, increase, and repeat that 5 more times, and that should get us to 42 single crochets at the end of the round. So I'll meet you when you have got to the end of round 9. For the next round, so for round 10, we're going to start working in the back loops only again, and we're going to start doing some decreases. So we're firstly going to do 5 single crochets in the back loops only. Oops. And then we're going to decrease in the back loops only. So just repeat that 5 more times, and then at the end of round 10 we should be down to 36 single crochets. And then for round 11 we're going to do some more decreases, so we're going to do 4 single crochet, decrease, and repeat that 5 more times and get us down to 30 single crochets at the end of round 11. But for round 11, work in both loops, so we're not just working in the back loops only for round 11. So I will meet you when you have finished round 11. For round 12, this is going to be our last round with decreases for a while, so we're just going to do 8 single crochets in both loops. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we're going to decrease in the next 2 stitches, so 9. And then we're going to repeat that twice more, and that will get us down to 27 single crochets at the end of round 12. And then for round 13, we're going to just increase back up to 30. So all you're going to do is you're going to do 8 single crochets, increase, and repeat that twice more, and that will get you back up to 30 single crochets at the end of round 13. So I'll meet you when you've reached that point. At the end of round 13, you should have something that looks a bit like this, so you can kind of see how that's starting to take shape. For rounds 14 to 17, we just need to single crochet all the way around, so I'll meet you when you have got to the end of round 17. So I got to the end of round 17, and as you can see, I actually skipped ahead and did all of the remaining rounds until round 28, so apologies for that. It's just because I originally filmed something and then I decided to actually change what I was going to do, and I didn't fancy unravelling all of those rounds for something that's really straightforward and that I can just talk you through anyway. So when you get to round 18, all you need to do is do 9 single crochets, increase, and repeat that twice more to get you to 33 single crochets at the end of the round. Then for rounds 19 to 22, you just need to single crochet all the way around. For round 23, you need to do 10 single crochet, increase, and repeat twice more to get you to 36 at the end of the round. And then for rounds 24 to 28, you just need to single crochet all the way around. So once you've done that, you should have something that looks a lot like this. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add the face details and the spots. So come back when you have finished that round. So the next thing you want to do is decide what's going to be the front of your Lloid. So I've decided to pick this side, which is opposite the last stitch of the last round, but you just can kind of look around and see which side looks the neatest effectively. And then you just need to pin the eyes down. So my eyes start at about round 25, so that kind of helps you with the positioning there. And then the mouth should just be directly beneath the eyes and in the middle of them, and the eyes should be about 2 stitches apart. So as I sew these down, I'm just going to do a standard in and out kind of stitch. So I'm going to go into the back, then I'm going to come back out and through the black part, trying not to get my pin caught in the needle, and then I'm just going to keep doing that all the way around. And you can see that this is why I decided to do the eyes and the mouth at this stage, so that I can have access to the back still at this point and I haven't stuffed and closed up the piece. So I'm just going to do that for the eyes and the mouth, and I'm going to knot the black yarn on the inside at the back to secure that in place, and then I will show you what to do next. I finished sewing down the eyes and the mouth, and as you can see, the next thing I've done is I've just taken some brown embroidery thread and I've just thread it through from the back to the front and then back inside again, leaving it fairly loose so that we can kind of glue this little part down. And this is just kind of the little line that he has underneath his mouth. So if you don't have embroidery thread, you could maybe use some lightweight yarn, so maybe some DK or even just one strand of some DK yarn. Otherwise, feel free to skip this step, it's kind of not completely necessary, but I'm just going to use a little bit of fabric glue to help stick that in the kind of shape that I want it. So I'm just going to wait for this to actually come out. I'm just going to put a dab here, not too much, and then I'm just going to press this bit down. Oh, I'm bleeding. Don't know how I did that. And just kind of play around with it until you're happy with how that looks, and then you can just knot that brown piece of embroidery thread on the inside, and then the next thing to do is to make the spots with our beige yarn. Okay, so the final thing to do before we finish crocheting the main body part is to just get our beige yarn, get a length of it, a fairly long length I would say, just to be on the safe side, and then we just need to start creating spots with this. So you can just thread through into any stitch that you choose, leave a bit of a tail at the back there so that you can tie that down later to secure this in place, and then you just need to go into a nearby stitch like this, pull through, and then come out again in a fairly nearby stitch, and then pick one of the stitches next to this and go into it like this. And you get the idea, you just need to do that all of the way around the body, trying to make it look as random as possible. So I will meet you when you finish that, and then we will continue crocheting the body. So as you can see, I finished adding the beige spots, and I've also added some stuffing on the inside as well. So now all we need to do is just finish crocheting the body so that we can kind of close it off, and then we can move on to doing the arms. So for round 29, you just want to do 4 single crochet, decrease, repeat 5 times to get us to 30 at the end of the round. For round 30, we want to do 3 single crochet, decrease, repeat 5 more times to get us to 24 at the end of the round. Then for round 31, 2 single crochet, decrease, repeat 5 times to get us to 18. Round 32, single crochet, decrease, repeat 5 times to get us to 12. And then round 33, you just want to decrease all the way around. So I'll meet you when you have finished round 33. So I finished the final round, and I'm just going to cut my yarn. Ooh. Pull the tail through, grab my yarn needle. I'm just going to put that through each of the final 6 single crochets. Just gonna pull that tight, and then I'm gonna feed the yarn tail through to the back here, and then I'm just gonna cut this, and there we have it. So now we can move on to making the arms. So as you can see, I've already made one of the arms and sewn it down, and I'm just going to take you through how to do the other arm because they're done in exactly the same way, so you just need to follow these steps twice. So to start off with, we're going to do 5 single crochets in a magic circle. Then we're going to increase all around for round 2. Then for round 3, we're going to single crochet all the way around in back loops only. And then for rounds 4 to 6, we're just going to single crochet all the way around in both loops. So I'll meet you when you've finished round 6. So now we're going to actually start crocheting in rows in order to make the bend in the arm. So you're just going to turn your work, and for row 1 you're just going to do 5 single crochets and don't chain at all, just do 5 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then turn again, and for row 2 you're just going to do 4 single crochets. And you may want to mark the unworked stitch from row 1, just because we're going to be crocheting into that later on. So then we're going to turn again, do 3 single crochets, and again you might want to mark the unworked stitch from row 2. Give me 1 sec, I'm just finding a stitch marker. And then you want to turn your work again, and now we're going to actually start working in rounds again. So this is going to be round 7. So you're just going to do 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to single crochet into this marked stitch here. So that's 4. Then you're going to single crochet into the 5 unworked single crochets from round 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're just going to single crochet into this final unworked stitch here. 10. So now we've got 10 single crochets in the round at the end of round 7, and as you can see, as we single crochet in the next few rounds, this is going to build up like this, so you're going to get the bend in the arm there. So now all we need to do is for rounds 8 to 12 you just need to single crochet all the way around, and I will meet you when you finish that. Now it's time to sew the arm down. I'm just going to do some whip stitches, so I'm just going to go in through the arm and then through a stitch on the body, pull through, and then I'm going to repeat the same thing, so into the arm, into a stitch on the body, and I'm just going to keep doing that all the way around, so I will meet you when I finish that. So I finished sewing the arm down, and I just fed the yarn tail through to the back here, same as I did for the other arm. I'm just going to cut both of these now. So there we go, we're nearly finished. Now we just need to make the hat to go on the top. So grab your yellow yarn and let's get started with that. So the first few rounds of the helmet are really straightforward. They're just standard increases in increments of 6, so I'll just talk you through those. So for round 1, we're just going to do 6 single crochets in a magic circle. Round 2, we're going to increase all the way around, and that'll get us to 12 single crochets at the end of the round. Round 3, we're going to single crochet increase, repeat 5 times, that'll get us to 18 single crochets at the end of the round. Round 4, we're going to do 2 single crochet increase, repeat 5 times to get us to 24 single crochets at the end of the round. Round 5, 3 single crochets increase, repeat 5 times to get us to 30 single crochets at the end of the round. Round 6, 4 single crochets increase, and that will get us to 36 single crochets at the end of round 6, so I will meet you when you have got to the end of round 6. So now for rounds 7 to 9, you're just going to single crochet all the way around, so I'll meet you when you've got to the end of round 9. So now that we've reached the end of round 9, we need to change colour to green, and I'm going to do this using the fake single crochet method. So I'm just going to cut the yarn, turn my work. I'm going to skip this first single crochet and instead go into this second one here, pull the yarn through, and then I'm going to go into the back loop of the final single crochet of round 9. I'm just going to pull the yarn through like that, and as you can see, we've now created a fake single crochet to make it harder to tell where we're going to do the colour change. Now you don't need to do this method, you could just do the standard colour change method, and also you may notice that I did this slightly differently to how I did the fake single crochet finish off for the eyes and the mouth, and the reason for that is because the eyes and the mouth were a lot smaller, so I actually added an extra stitch by doing the fake single crochet. But where I have a lot of single crochets in the round, I tend to overlap the fake single crochet with an existing single crochet because I think it gives a better effect. So now I'm just going to grab my green yarn, select a stitch near where I did the fake single crochet. I'll probably pick this one and just pull the green through, and then chain, and then I can just start single crocheting all the way around. So I'm just going to single crochet in that same stitch, and then I'm just going to go into the next one and the next one. And so on. So we're going to just single crochet all the way around in green for rounds 10 and 11. So I'll meet you at the end of round 11. So I've got to the end of round 11 and I'm going to change back to yellow now using the same method. Okay, so now we're going to do a few more rounds of single crocheting all the way around. So for round 12 to 13, just single crochet all the way around in yellow, and I will meet you when you have finished that. So I finished round 13 and now we're going to do some front loop only crocheting. So we're going to do 5 single crochets in the front loops only. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to increase 6, 7, and you're going to repeat that 5 more times and you should get to 42 single crochets at the end of round 14. So I'll see you when you get to that point. So now I will just talk you through the next 2 rounds because they're quite simple. So you do both these rounds in both loops. So for round 15, you're just going to do 6 single crochets, increase, repeat 5 more times. That'll get you to 48 single crochets at the end of the round. And then for round 16, you're just going to do 7 single crochets, increase, repeat 5 more times. That'll get you to 54 single crochets at the end of the round. So I will meet you at the end of round 16. So I got to the end of the final round, and just for completeness I'm going to finish off with a fake single crochet. You can cut and leave a longer tail if you want to actually sew the helmet to Lloid, but I'm choosing to leave it as a removable piece. So I'm just going to quickly do this. and then I'm just going to knot that on the inside of the helmet, and then that'll be complete. So the final thing that I'm going to do is just to make a strip of yellow that will go across the top here, just so that it looks like the helmet, and then I'll do a couple of lines on the green part here because that's what Lloyd's helmet looks like. So grab your yellow yarn and let's make that final piece. For the final yellow piece for the helmet, you're going to start by crocheting in rows. So we're going to start off with a chain of 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then all we're going to do is we're going to single crochet across, so starting from the second chain from hook, and this time I am going to actually crochet into this front loop here rather than the back loop, but that's just a sort of style decision. You could choose to crochet into the back loop if you wanted. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then chain 1 and turn. So for row 2 you're just going to do the exact same thing, 10 single crochets, chain 1, turn, and then for row 3 you're going to do 10 single crochets and then you're going to turn without chaining. So I will meet you at the end of row 3. For row 3 we're going to do 10 single crochets again. And now we're going to chain 1, but we're not going to turn, because what we're going to do now is crochet around the piece. So we're going to work 26 single crochets around evenly, so 3 on either of the narrow ends and then 10 on either of the wider ends. And we're going to work into back loops where possible, but obviously particularly on the ends that's not always possible, so just do your best. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. So that's that. So now I'm just going to cut the yarn, leaving enough for sewing, and then I'm going to pin this to the helmet and then I'm going to sew it down. So I will show you that. So as you can see, I've now pinned it down and I'm just going to sew it around. I'm probably just going to use a whip stitch for this, and I'll show you just before I've finished sewing it because I'm going to add a little bit of stuffing at that point. So I've nearly finished sewing this down, and as I mentioned, I'm going to add a little bit of stuffing, just a tiny amount. So yep, I'm just going to do that now. And then I'm going to finish sewing that down, and then I'm going to use this long tail to add a couple of yellow stripes at the front of the helmet, and then I will show you the finished product. So there we have it. I finished sewing that top part down, and I just added a couple of stripes to the green part on the helmet here. So now all you need to do is put the helmet on your Lloid. You might need to kind of squeeze him into it a bit like this. Kind of adjust it to where you want it to sit, and there we have it. So that is our Lloid, and I'll show you him standing up as well, because he should stand up by himself. So I hope you found this tutorial useful, and I will see you in the next video.